Good morning. It is 9:05. I'm so excited. We only get to do a show like this once every 4 years. You're going to have to wait another 4 years for a bonus day in February edition of the Chris Hand Show. Are you excited about that?
Let's go.
Bonus February?
Woo!
This is crazy.
Leap year.
Dude, this happens once every 4 years. Today's special. I think we can all agree that today is special. So I brought some facts.
Ooh, all righty.
I was like, does anything ever happen on this day? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question.
Does anything significant
It's only
ever?
once every 4 years has something really crazy happened on this day. Yeah.
It's got to be significant, right? You know how this started?
How?
It was Julius Caesar.
Oh.
He created a year of confusion. He decided that the year 46 BC was going to be 445 days long instead of 365. And people were like, what?
What?
What? And I think that was all part of the plan.
Because we were confused.
Super confused. And then the next year, he then made it 365 and a quarter days long. So, like, if you go from 365 to 365 and a quarter, it's like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But when you go to 445 and then you bring it back, they're like, okay.
All right, this is a little
We can handle this a lot better. So this is what happened. If you're wondering why we have February 29th, and if today's your birthday, happy birthday. If you blame Julius Caesar.
Yes.
I just want to make that a point.
So he wanted to really switch it up at first. That way, when he added just an extra half day, you were like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
We can deal with this now.
Go extreme so that when you pull back, you get to what you originally wanted in the first place. You know what I mean?
Julius.
Classic Caesar, right?
Did you know anyone with a leap year birthday?
No, do you?
In like grade school, I knew one. And I was always like, what? That's so weird.
What an idiot.
Yeah, I know.
A kid is so dumb.
He'd be like, I'm 2 years old or whatever. He'd be like, all right.
Yeah, we get it.
Yeah, we get it, bro.
Yeah.
Super cool, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get one every year, so.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Joe on the super text line, the members nutrition super text line, said, my neighbor, Mary, is turning 18 today. She'll also be 72.
Hey.
All right, so you ready for famous things that have happened on Leap Day?
Yes.
All right. Had to go back, just for the record.
Okay.
Like,
good bit.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, there was some digging involved in this.
A rabbit hole or two may have been jumped down.
Several. Several. Let's take us back to 1692.
Whoa, okay.
Right?
You weren't kidding.
No, dude, why would I joke about this?
This is serious.
This is a special show that happens once every 4 years.
You're right.
So
My
all
mistake.
of these facts, if you miss today, you'll be able to hear them again in 4 years. So
just have this
Lord
saved.
willing, if Dan Mandis allows it, in 4 years we'll have the exact same show. 1692. The year was 1692, my friend. Think about 1692. Are you thinking about it?
I'm thinking about it.
Put yourself in that mind state. There's no iPhones. There's no email. There's no alarm clocks. It was a simpler time. Granted, there was, warring Indian tribes and scalping and tar and feathering. You know what I mean?
Poop on the streets. Yeah.
You got to take the good with the bad. In 1692, in the town of Salem, Massachusetts, the first women were accused of witchcraft.
Wow.
On a leap day.
That's crazy.
Isn't that wild?
That is wild.
Yo.
Dang.
So I grew up in Massachusetts, obviously.
Of course.
Salem is nuts. If you've never
Really?
done Salem, I suggest you do it.
Is it creepy?
It's weird.
Yeah.
Don't do it on Halloween.
Don't
do it on
they
Halloween.
probably make it extra.
It gets chaos on Halloween. Go in November.
Okay. A little before.
That would be after.
A little after. Yeah, correct. Dang, 1692? I thought that would have started earlier. We were late on the accusing of witches. That's fair.
I'll be honest. I didn't thoroughly fact check any of these. So I used one source, and I was like, "That's cool."
All right, sweet.
Oh, I bet.
Write that down.
All right, so it was Sarah Good, Sarah Osborne, and Tituba, a West Indian slave. They were accused of witchcraft. And I for one, just want to say, thank goodness we got that under control. Okay? Let's fast forward a little bit. Nothing happened between 1692 and 1904.
Wow.
Like, there was other stuff, but like a lot of it was like Europe and like, you know what I mean?
We don't need that. Yeah.
We don't have
Come
time
on.
for that.
Bring me back to the US of A.
1904, our boy Teddy Roosevelt appointed the 7-man Panama Canal Commission to proceed with completing a canal at the Isthmus. Malaria be damned. The mosquito. We've all heard about the mosquito.
Of course.
So that happened in 1904.
And now we've got robotic mosquitoes.
GMO mosquitoes.
Yeah.
You know, thanks,
How
Bill
far
Gates.
we've come.
Look at this. Do you think I don't know. I don't have any evidence to back this. But if I was in the CIA, I would want a robotic surveillance mosquito.
Yeah, birds weren't good enough.
No. Fly on
People
the wall.
are catching on.
If I could be a fly on the wall,
Yes,
CIA is like,
exactly.
that's a hell of an idea.
You're like, dude, wow.
Right?
Why didn't we
Why
think
wouldn't
of
they
that?
why wouldn't they do that? All right, fast forward again. Nothing happens on Leap Day for like 50 years. And I don't know if this is like a big event, but I thought this guy's name was funny.
Okay. So we're in the 50s?
We're in 1952.
Okay.
Dick Button leads an unprecedented American sweep when he wins the world's men's figure skating championship in Paris. I don't really don't have any care for figure skating.
Yeah.
But with a gem of a name like that, am I not going to mention it on a show that I can only do once every 4 years?
Gotta shout out Dick Button.
Yeah. Shout out to Dick Button. I wonder if he's still alive.
Fact check.
Probably. If you're figure skating, you got to be in tremendous shape. He's probably dead.
Dick Button is 94.
What?
He's alive.
Why didn't we get him on the show today?
Yeah, for real.
If I didn't think of this bit last night.
He may not have a lot on his sketch at 94. We maybe could call him up.
You think? Do you have a phone number?
I'm going to reach out.
We should try and get him on the show today. Be like, Mr. Button, we thought your name was hilarious. and we wanted to get you on the show to talk about the World Figure Skating Championship, which happened in 1952.
Yeah, this dude won a lot of golds. Wow.
He was a beast.
Yeah, was a beast.
Listen, when you have a name like that, it's either eat or get eaten. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like there's no other option.
You either take the bull by the horns or you're done.
Yeah, you're cooked. It's like The Boy Named Sue, the Johnny Cash song. Like I would assume that Mr. Button's father wasn't around, and he knew that he had to give him a name that was either get tough or die. You know, so shout out to Dick Button. Fast forward 4 years, things start picking up on Leap Day.
On Leap Day, okay.
You're gonna love this one. 1956.
Yeah.
The Cleveland Indians franchise is sold.
Wow.
How much do you think the Indians are sold for in 1956 on Leap Day?
Oh gosh, 100 grand?
$4 million.
Wow, that's a lot.
I know.
That was way more than I thought. Dang.
I said to myself I was going to do the inflation calculator, and I never did it. So let's do the inflation
You
calculator.
got it? Okay.
For 1956, okay? So we'll say it's $4 million. Man, how many zeros is that? All right, 1, 2, 3,
6.
Yeah, I know it's 6. $4 million in, let's say, January of, I said 56, right?
Yeah.
Yep. January of 56 to January of 2024. That'd be $46 million.
Wow.
So.
Not bad.
No.
Not even close to what it is today, but
What sports team could you buy for that?
nothing.
You couldn't buy a lacrosse team for that.
No.
You couldn't buy a WNBA team for that.
Maybe, but no.
You couldn't sponsor a bowling team for that kind of
Yes,
money.
seriously.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're talking billions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy. That's crazy. Yeah, 46 mil doesn't even get you like a stake in ownership.
Gets you like a box
Yeah,
for a season.
exactly. Yeah,
You know
for
what I
one
mean?
season.
Like, jeez. Like,
Got to pay extra for food.
how
yeah.
much is a box at the Super Bowl? I bet you it would be what the franchise for the Cleveland Indians would go for
Yeah,
if
probably.
if it just kept up with inflation. So yeah, that happened in 56. MLB Cleveland Indians sold for $4 million. It was actually sold to a former player and the team's general manager, Hank Greenberg.
Oh, that's cool.
He was part of the new ownership group. 1968, good year.
Great year.
People like it.
It's a good year.
Why
Music was awesome.
So in 1968, the Beatles' Sgt.
There we
Pepper's
go.
Lonely Hearts Club Band won a Grammy Award for Album of the Year.
What did I say? I said music was great. I called that.
You
Heck
knew
yeah.
it. I didn't share any of this with Mac
No, I
beforehand.
swear I had no idea.
It was the first rock LP to win a Grammy for Album of the Year.
Dang.
Isn't that wild?
That is. It's a great album. Nuts. That's cool. 68. All right. So we've got 4 now, right?
Yep.
4 historical things. Okay.
I got 2 more. Here's another one for you. The year is 1972. This is back when cars are still made with metal. Kids are allowed to ride their bikes outside all day and not have to worry about calling home. Okay? It was a much simpler time in 72. In 1972, Hank Aaron became the first MLB player to earn a $200,000 average annual salary.
Wow. Really?
Yep. First one.
200,000?
$200,000 a year in 1972. So I'll do my inflation calculator again. You ready for this?
Yeah.
So 200,000 in 1972. You factor in inflation, that would be $1.5 million today.
Gosh. Nothing.
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 What did Ohtani just sign for?
Yeah, what was that? A 10-year, $700 million or something? That was.
So that averages out to $70 million a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah, 10-year, 700. Yeah.
What the sports has blown up.
Oh yeah. No, that's nuts. Especially with thinking about it with being baseball, because those guys make the most now. I mean, $200K back in the 70s. That's crazy.
Yep.
Because Larry Bird signed. I guess that was 80s. So yeah, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, it makes sense. That was 80s. Yeah,
What
yeah.
was Larry Bird making?
He signed. Well, it was like after his prime, but he signed it was something like a 7-year deal for $14 million. It was like a huge deal at the time, but it was like $2 million a year. That was like 15 years after that or something.
And those deals are always to like keep him.
Exactly, Celtic for life. That was how it was.
That was like the last Kobe contract was the exact same way.
Yeah. Just make sure you're here.
That way we can sell your merchandise in perpetuity and it's only ours.
Yeah, no one else can have that. Yep.
All right, fast forward, last one. You ready?
Yeah.
The year is 1976.
Yes.
Nothing happens after 1976.
It's weird.
Or I actually probably just got bored of the bit. There might be something. full disclosure. Full disclosure.
I kind of got tired diving down rabbit holes.
So when I do my show prep, it's like I sort of start right before we start the bedtime process.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Then I walk away for a bit.
Yeah.
So this is why I didn't do the inflation calculator last night.
Because you walked away to bedtime.
I walked away and then I get sidetracked with Dr. Phil, Red Pill in the World and stuff like that, going down rabbit holes. All right, so last big leap day thing. 1976, American driver Richard Petty wins the only Winston Cup race run on leap day. He took the Carolina 500 at Rockingham by 2 laps over Darrell Waltrip.
Wow, there we go. What a day.
You know what my wife said to me? I was reading her these. She's like, "Wow, that one about Richard Petty is cool." I was like, "Yeah." It's like, "What day of the week was that?" I said, "Virginia." It was leap day. All right. So this is
in the 70s.
This is surface level research for fun. I don't know what to tell you. All right. Mike on line 1. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Good morning. Hey, I'm actually from 1976. So I was born on this day, February 29th. I'm officially 12 years old today. So actually I'm 48, but
woo!
Yeah, I don't remember Richard Petty winning any race because I was probably crying in the crib getting circumcised or something else.
I'm sorry about the circumcision.
I mean, it worked out pretty good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
All right.
it's
Full
good,
recovery,
man,
I
but-
hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, full recovery. It looks pretty good. Yeah, everything's fine.
All right, good to know. Well, happy
yeah,
birthday, Mike.
Yeah, happy birthday, man.
Hey, leap year, man. Hey, I'm 12, so maybe I'll be a teenager next in 4 years.
All
So,
right, excellent. This is going to be the best 4 years of your life coming up, Mike. I can feel it in my blood.
Hey, I got you, man. Hey, keep on trucking. I love you guys.
Hey, love you
every
too,
day.
bud. Appreciate it. Happy birthday.
Thanks, Mike.
When he said I'm from 1976, it's like, are we talking to a time
I was
traveler?
like, are we going to make the list of leap days? Talking to a time traveler?
Yep. Also, Mike aside, glad it worked out for him.
Yes. Glad everything went well with the procedure.
Very anti-circumcision, by the way. Not a fan.
Same.
Yep.
Bingo.
Very same.
Yeah. Like, what are we doing?
Not a fan.
No. And then they sell it.
Do they?
Oh yeah.
Wow, I don't even know. I'm even more not a fan.
Check out those rabbit holes, baby. Dark. And then you see what they like strap the kid in.
Yeah.
You
No,
see the
yeah,
little
yeah.
like, oh hey, welcome to the world. I'm gonna strap you down.
Snip, snip.
Yeah. No. Nope.
I'm out.
Yep. Said hard pass. Thanks. 922.
Never mind. I was going to say something.
Don't say it. 922. It's Leap Day. We only get to do this show once every 4 years. It's a magical show.
Woo!
It's a magical show. We've covered a lot of ground. Shout out to Dick Button and Richard Petty. It's 922 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at Paul Winkler Inc. I got 4 wonderful kids, a wife I love. One thing we didn't have was a financial plan for the future. We didn't really know where to turn, who to call, who to ask until we found out about Paul Winkler. Now, when we moved to Nashville some years ago, we were listening to his radio show. He's like, sounds like a smart guy. When I started working here, they were like, Paul wants to meet with you. So I met with Paul, got to sit down, and I realized he's the same guy that you hear on his radio shows on the weekends on WTN. He's smart. He's honest. He's absolutely legit. So when he said, I want to, manage your finances and help you come up with this plan for retirement, I was all in. And Paul and his team hold themselves to the highest levels of fiduciary standard. Because of that, I got to tell you that I'm paid every time this commercial airs. But that's not why I decided to become a client. I decided to become a client because I was honest with myself and knew I didn't have a plan. And when I got to sit down with Paul and break bread and get my questions answered, I knew he was the same guy that I hear on the air, off the air. And I was impressed with him. He knows the financial world better than I do. He can break it down for a guy like me who's financially illiterate to understand. And he does that with any question I have, and I text him all the time. He's made my financial goals for my family more realistic by explaining what to do and why. He can do the exact same thing for you and your family because the investment education he brings to the table is evidence-based and backed by Nobel Prize-winning research. He will bring the receipts. You should check these guys out. Every single office of Paul's is run by a degreed planner with over 20 years of experience, and that experience is the difference between Paul's team and the rest. So do what I did. Talk to one of his team members. Set up a complimentary 15-minute phone call right now on his website, paulwinkler.com. That's paulwinkler.com, or call 615-851-1950.
9:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 2 minutes. Right now in Texas, that wildfire in the Panhandle is now reported to be the state's largest wildfire in history at more than 1,700 square miles. In Israel, Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry says more than 100 people are dead. Hundreds more injured after Israeli defense forces allegedly opened fire on Palestinians waiting for food. The IDF says this incident is under review. Big marijuana bust at the Nashville airport. Channel 4 says officers seized almost 50 pounds of pot in several bags yesterday after a canine hit on 4 suitcases. The cops put all 4 suitcases on the same baggage claim carousel and then watched as 4 people claimed each bag. They then moved in and arrested Alvin Moss, Toshel Hughes, and Ebony Collins. A 4th person was let go when it turned out there was no marijuana in his bag. Food recall due to an allergy concern. Chick-fil-A urging customers to discard any Polynesian sauce dipping cups that may have been taken home starting on Valentine's Day. The Polynesian dipping cups may contain a different sauce that includes wheat and soy. That notice says, and that's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 9:37 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Happy Leap Day. Do people say that? Happy Leap Day?
We can start it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Once every 4 years, baby. It's super special.
Yeah, let's get into Leap Day history books. That's our goal.
We should.
Yes, that's our goal.
I think currently we have the most epic radio show to ever be done on a Leap Day.
Easily.
Easily.
Anecdotally speaking, I'd say for sure.
Did you see 7347?
Oh, yeah. This was a great text.
7347 on the members nutrition text line said, anecdotally speaking, you're the most listened to talk radio show among people born on Leap Day.
Bingo.
Number one.
Woo!
Number one, anecdotally speaking,
That's what we do.
for people born on Leap Day. And we have anecdotal evidence to support that. Shout out to our friend Mike.
Shout out to Mike.
Happy birthday, Mike.
Happy
See?
B-Day.
Yeah. How much more anecdotal evidence
Yes,
does one
seriously. It's overwhelming.
need? We had a guy, he called.
He did. He dialed the number and everything.
If one person calls, that means there's millions out there
Exactly.
celebrating a Leap Day birthday that aren't calling,
At least.
you know? Notice I didn't say that are listening. I said that aren't calling.
That aren't calling. Yeah.
You know? That, factually correct.
That is true. They're not calling.
Yep. Keith on the members nutrition text line said, I can't believe we missed and didn't celebrate Leap Day Eve.
Oh, you're right. Keith, that was a missed opportunity.
Leap Day Eve is the rarest of all Eves.
Yes. That actually might be Murphy approved.
I think it would have to be.
Yeah, have to be. That's kind of his rule, right?
It has to be rare.
Yeah, rare. Can't be every week.
No, and this one isn't even every year.
Yeah, it's every 4. No, you're right.
Well, technically, theoretically, you could have a Leap Day Eve every year.
That's true.
You just couldn't
You
have
should
Leap Day.
Leap Day. Wow.
That's my mind blowing. All right. Should we do real stuff? Is there
Yeah,
real
I
stuff
guess
to
we
get
could
to?
probably do something real.
I could probably riff on Leap
I
Day
was about to say.
2.5 hours.
Yeah. Oh, I've got so much content. Leap Day content.
I don't know how people don't just fill the show with Leap
Exactly.
Day content on Leap Day.
I mean, when you prep for 4 years, I mean,
This is the thing. It's an extraordinary amount of prep goes
yes,
into Leap Day.
exactly.
So I've had a lot of time to think about this.
1451 on the members nutrition super text line says, I had to look up the definition of anecdotal.
Anecdotally, we are number one among people that use dictionaries. Did you know that? There's anecdotal evidence to support it.
Right there. Thank you, 1451.
Thank you, 1451. So, I mean, the list is growing. We need all right,
Seriously.
so we're keeping the doc on you wearing Chiefs gear every day until you run out without a repeat.
This is true.
I think we need another doc on what we're anecdotally the number one
Yes,
show for.
exact.
Like we got people that use dictionaries.
Yep.
People with Leap Day birthdays, truckers, prisoners,
Prisoners.
mailmen.
Oh, yeah. Mail carriers. Yep. Mail
That one's
That actually is. Yeah, that's for sure.
that's 100% established.
Yes,
Todd's probably not here yet, but he would agree on the members nutrition text line.
he would.
He would.
Starts at 9.
Show starts at 9. All right. So there's stuff happening. Do we do stuff?
Let's do some stuff. Tell me about the stuff.
Do you want to know about the stuff?
Yeah. What's the stuff today?
All right. Did you hear that a judge has removed Donald J. Trump from another ballot in Illinois? I know.
You seem scared.
I felt the exact same way.
You seem frightened.
Yeah. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Elon Musk said this will backfire on Twitter. You know, I think the only thing that this will do is make his poll numbers go higher. Also, I want to say, does this mean that Illinois is actually terrified about Trump winning? Does this mean Illinois is in play? We hear tons of evidence from people in Chicago, the urban areas of Chicago, the black vote saying, we want Trump. We know that the illegal alien crisis in Chicago is reaching a fever pitch, right? These are things that we know. They're fed up with the border, and they actually want Trump. And we've heard this tons of times. let me put my audio up. These are black Chicagoans that want Trump. Chicagoans.
We sent a direct message, and we asked Trump to come to Chicago, come here and walk these streets with us, and we'll put thousands behind him as he walks the streets. And that's a fact. That's a promise.
Fantastic.
And the reason is because they're tired of illegal aliens. They're tired of it. They're fed up with these open borders, and they're fed up with the migrants.
Many of these residents say they no longer have any tolerance for the disruptive behavior by those seeking asylum here. It's making them feel unsafe.
They disrespect us, they rob us, they harass us.
And their patience is wearing thin.
Let me say this. They got one more time to deal with it, because otherwise, next time they deal with it, they're going to deal with it from the streets. We're going to take over it.
So, black Chicagoans are not happy with the way the Democrats are running their city. And I hear from so many people that live in Illinois that, like, guys, if it wasn't for Chicago, the state would be red. Maybe Illinois is terrified. Maybe this is a knee-jerk reaction to what they see as a tide turning in Illinois. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it. But yesterday, an Illinois judge ruled to have former President Donald J. Trump removed from the state's ballot because of the invasion clause in the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. Cook County Judge Tracy Porter put the ruling on hold so Trump can appeal, which means Trump will remain on the ballot until further notice. But in her ruling, Judge Porter said that she knows her decision could not be the ultimate outcome. But yet she's taken things into her own hands and has said that she's reviewed the extensive body of evidence and determined that he's disqualified from the presidency. Oh, thank you. I love it when unelected officials decide to do things just on a whim, based on their feelings. So, just to remind you, they banned a sitting president from Twitter. They impeached him twice. They jailed his supporters. They raided his home. They've indicted him over and over and over again. They have tried to remove him from ballots in multiple states. And then these same left-wing radicals get on TV and tell us that we are the fascists. That's what they do. Many such cases. Many such cases. Now, as far as Colorado goes, Trump is still on the ballot in Colorado as early voting begins and the Supreme Court ruling looms. So, the Supreme Court's yet to rule on his eligibility in that Colorado case, but voters in Colorado can now cast ballots for Trump to become the Republican presidential nominee this year. The state began early voting on Monday ahead of Super Tuesday. And Trump is more than, he's one of 6 names on the GOP ballot remaining, despite Colorado's effort to kick him off. We'll see what happens with the Supreme Court there. It's going to be interesting. Sean in Lebanon wants to talk about Chicago. What's up, Sean?
Hey, Chris, just because you were talking about it, I sent you a text, but then when you named the judge, I had to elaborate. It does not surprise me when it comes to a Cook County judge ruling that way.
Hey, real quick, Sean. I know we talk all the time, and I know who you are, but I just want to remind the audience that you used to live in Chicago, and you're a former Chicago police officer.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, perfect. So hit me with what you know about the judge.
So sorry. So not the judge specific, but all the judges in Cook County, they are all registered under the Democrat Party. They all, in order to run for the election, have to go and kiss the ring of Ed Burke, who is one of the most corrupt politicians and is undergoing or was just convicted. I can't remember if his trial's still going or not. But he was all part of the Cook County machine with Mike Madigan, who is the poster child for term limits. I mean, it's just there is never, ever a Republican judge in Cook County because you need Burke's blessing to run for a position for a judge.
So you're telling me that there are corrupt Democrat politicians in Chicago?
Go figure, right? I mean,
This
you
is
know,
a-
the dead vote often and frequently.
I feel like we need a breaking news sounder for this.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just, you know, especially for those that didn't move down here that are, you know, wondering why you talk about it all the time. The ultimate level. I mean, this is going back to the early '80s with the Greylord investigation. I mean, it is well, my previous life, the judicial system, and when I say that, I mean the judges were the poster children for corruption up there. I mean, so the fact that they ruled doesn't surprise me. It was rubber stamped from the get-go.
Oh yeah, I mean 100%. And you can. It's like I don't know if you feel this way. I look at people and I can tell if they're a Democrat, and this judge looks like a radical leftist.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I hope you enjoyed the audio from yesterday.
Oh yeah, man, it was wild, and I appreciate that. Thanks, Sean.
All right, bye.
All right, later. Sean is a retired police officer from Chicago. He now lives in Tennessee. Calls all the time. He sent me some audio on Instagram of the ShotSpotter cameras in Chicago, because yesterday we were talking about Glock switches and how they're coming from China and they make these handguns fire like an automatic weapon. And he sent me some audio, say this is what it sounds like in Chicago when they're using these Glock switches. So Sean's a good guy, and I like having somebody that this is one of the things that's cool about Tennessee, because we have a lot of transplants coming from everywhere. We can get like firsthand evidence on what's happening in a lot of these failed blue cities that not a lot of conservative areas have the benefit of that, because Tennessee is such a great state, and we have people that are fleeing these lousy blue states. They come here and then they tell us, they give us the score and tell us what's really going on. So that's one of the cool things. Anecdotally speaking, we're the #1 show for retired police officers fleeing Chicago.
It's not close, really. The anecdotal evidence came back, and it's crazy, man.
I mean,
the lead that we have.
Sean, he's a retired police officer. I'll let him tell us next time. But I think that you could convict with that kind of anecdotal evidence.
We got Mario on the Members Nutrition Super Text line, says, anecdotally, you're #1 with anecdotal evidence.
This is true.
Bingo.
Mario gets it.
He gets it. You guys get it. All right, so there's also more Trump stuff. Did you know that? This is just the tip of the Trumpberg.
Oh, nice.
You like that?
I like that a lot.
Anecdotally, I say the best things.
I say the best things.
I say the best things. He called Joe Biden a mental midget. He roasted them in this Instagram video. It's awesome. And the Supreme Court is going to decide if he has immunity, which made the liberals' heads explode. Despite what happens in that immunity case with SCOTUS, hearing Rachel Maddow melt down makes it all worth it. I have that audio for you. We'll play it on the way. Hang out with us. I don't know which one we're going to do first. Maybe I'll let the Members Nutrition text line decide. Do you want to hear a Maddow meltdown or a Trump Biden beatdown? Whatever you guys decide is what we'll play next. Hang out with us. It's 9:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Well, the nation's Pentagon chief getting blasted by Republicans right now, and so is President Biden by some people who live along the border with Mexico ahead of his trip there today. We'll tell you about it at 10 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, so when I asked the members' nutrition text line to vote what you would like to hear, either the Trump beatdown on Biden or the Rachel Maddow meltdown, I didn't say that you couldn't vote for both, right?
It's true. Didn't specify.
We got the most votes for both. I'm going to play both.
Yeah, of course.
But I was talking about which one we play next.
Which one do you want to hear first?
All right, so what was the tally? Who what did you think won?
I think, well, we both definitely won, but overall just voting for one, I think the Maddow meltdown. But it was close.
All right, the Maddow meltdown. So Rachel Maddow hears that the Supreme Court is going to hear Trump's immunity case, and she just completely loses her mind. She's like, he's going to be the emperor.
If you think about the court as the Supreme Court of the United States and a rational actor and a decent one, that was a reasonable supposition, and it just turns out they're not that.
Okay, so the Supreme Court is not reasonable anymore. Okay? Are you following? That's like the least unhinged that she sounded during this. That they're not reasonable. But there's an important question. And she says that. Then she never asks the question. Just full disclosure. She's like, we're missing the important question.
The important question here is not whether the Supreme Court is going to decide that Donald Trump and all presidents are immune from prosecution for crimes they committed while they were president. I mean, it would be fully insane for them to actually side with Trump here, right?
So she never gets to the question. And the way she goes, it would be fully insane if they ever did that. I think that that leads me to believe, like, oh, okay, cool. So they're probably going to side with Trump. And then she says basically, well, the conclusion of all this. Do you know what the conclusion is? Trump for life. That's what it is. Did you know that? Like Hulk Hogan, the NWO, it's for life.
Yeah, the conclusion that we can arrive at now based on what they have done without having to wait for the ruling is that they are ensuring that Trump will not face trial. And when they inevitably rule that presidents aren't immune from prosecution after they leave office, what that will tell Donald Trump, if by then he is president, is that he can never leave the office of the presidency.
That'd be pretty cool.
Right. And if he is voted out in 2028.
Here's the thing, like she's so unhinged. She goes, and if he's voted out in 2028, he can only run for one term. He can't run again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, what?
So like if DeSantis runs in 2028, he gets the nomination and he's voted in. Like, what are you saying? That Trump isn't going to leave? And he left in 2020 when there were obvious questions about the election. But she says, if he's voted out in 2028, he'll never leave.
Right. And if he is voted out in 2028, he cannot leave office, and he is willing to he is welcome to commit any crimes he wants to, as long as he is still president, in order to ignore the result of that election and stay in power for life, because otherwise he is going to go to prison when he gets out.
Trump for life, baby. Sign me up. It's 10:01 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast in 2 minutes. Right now in our nation's capital, Pentagon chief getting a tongue lashing for failure to tell anyone about his hospitalization last month.
The defense secretary was blasted by House Republicans for not sharing word of his hospitalization with the president for 3 days.
Our adversaries should fear us, and what you've done has embarrassed us.
Indiana Congressman Jim Banks.
Who will be held accountable for this?
Lloyd Austin didn't directly answer that, but he did say there'll be notifications across the Pentagon and at the White House when power is transferred in the future.
We did not handle this right, and I did not handle it right.
Right now in Middle Tennessee, Channel 4 is reporting at least one person died in a house fire this morning. It happened in Hermitage just actually right before 7 o'clock this morning on a home, and that was at a home on Woodway Lane. One person found dead. Another person was able to get out. Meanwhile, that wildfire scorching across the panhandle of Texas. Mola Linge says the Smokehouse Creek fire has exploded in size to become the largest in Texas history and more than 1,700 square miles.
Nearly 1 million acres of scorched earth as firefighters work to contain the blaze, many pouring into shelters. The home of Hemphill County Sheriff Brent Clapp and his wife, Rachel, burning to the ground. Barely had time to escape.
Get some clothes, get your medicine if you need it, and get your animals and go.
But the community here stays resilient.
Everybody I know is lucky to be alive, and we'll make it through.
At least one confirmed death, an 83-year-old grandmother. Dueling visits at the border with Mexico today. Former President Donald Trump, for him, the campaign trail leads to Eagle Pass, Texas, the epicenter of illegal border crossings. A Republican presidential candidate will highlight what he insists is the current president's failure to address illegal immigration.
This is Jim Ryan in Brownsville, Texas, where President Biden today will see a different view of the border. About half as many people were caught illegally entering the country last year here than in Eagle Pass. Danny Marrero, he heads a nonprofit that serves migrant communities in this city.
If people are going to come, especially when you're the president, you have to meet with border residents. If not, you missed a very important reason of why you need to visit in the first place.
Instead, Biden is expected to talk with immigration officials and local elected leaders.
By the way, Trump promising mass deportations if elected. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Happy Leap Day. Some people like to say it's called Leap Year. I'm focusing on the day in question.
Leap Day.
It's Leap Day.
Leap Day. Heck yeah.
So we're pretty excited. Pretty excited about Leap Day. We only get to do a show like this once every 4 years. So Stay tuned to see what we have planned for next Leap Day.
So leap year lines up with every presidential election year then?
I guess so.
Interesting.
Unless Trump gets elected, according to Rachel Maddow, because there'll be no more presidential elections ever.
Bingo.
You know what I mean? If Trump wins, then we won't have to
It's
worry
over.
about that anymore.
It's over.
He's going to be, dictator for life, Emperor Trump. Golden toilets for everyone, Unbelievable. All right, so the Supreme Court has decided to hear the immunity case, okay? They're going to decide if Trump is immune from prosecution for allegedly trying to overthrow democracy. You know that. When he said peacefully and patriotically march and let your voices be heard, that was one of them dog whistles to overthrow the government. Obviously, right? Obviously. So the U.S. Supreme Court has now said that they've granted Trump's request to decide if he's immune from prosecution of charges of attempting to overturn the results of the 2020 election. Personally, I think with the evidence at hand, it will go in Trump's favor. But you never know. You never know what happens with these things, right? We don't really know what's going to happen with the Colorado thing. It seems like it's leaning in Trump's favor, but we have to wait until we see the decision. So we'll see what happens. But the court is going to consider whether, and if so, to what extent does a former president enjoy presidential immunity from criminal prosecution for conduct alleged to involve official acts during his tenure in office. I think this is a slippery slope if they go against Trump. Because as we all know, Obama drone bombed an American citizen in the Middle East. You know what I mean? So if Trump isn't immune, does Obama, is he able to face charges for drone bombing an American citizen? You know what I mean? So yesterday the court granted the request, saying oral arguments will begin the week of April 22nd. The order also instructs the appellate courts to keep special counsel Jack Smith's case against Trump paused until the Supreme Court reaches a decision on the immunity matter. Special counsel Jack Smith, one of the best. He was once hit by a truck, and the truck was totaled. It was. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, of course.
Tough
guy.
guy.
I forget.
He's got grit.
And Chuck Norris fears him.
He does. So he's got to wait. And what this means is, either way, despite whatever SCOTUS decides, it's going to be a win for Trump, because the case is going to be on pause. They're going to hear the arguments with April 22nd. The week of April 22nd, they'll start hearing arguments. And then it's going to take a boatload of time for them to reach their conclusion. And at that point, it'll be too close to the election. So that court case with Jack Smith, it's like, yep, we'll see you in 2025. Because it's already delayed what was expected to be an expedited schedule for the prosecution. A federal grand jury in D.C. indicted Trump on 4 counts on August 1st, 2023. And after legal back and forth between Smith's and Trump's team, the court set a March 4th, 2024 trial date. Like, it's not happening. It's not happening. So we'll see what goes on. It's interesting. Jonathan Turley said the order setting argument on immunity for April 22nd is a blow to Smith on the calendar. Rather than granting a stay, it has constructively created such a stay by scheduling the argument. Keep in mind, even if Smith prevails, pre-trial work must wait for the return of the mandate. Fascinating. Even if the court issues a decision before June in favor of the government, the trial court then has to hash out discovery and other motions, he continued. And he said that would push the trial closer to the November election, in tension with existing DOJ policies. Of course, under this DOJ, who knows if they, abide by those policies. But we'll see what happens. The precedent-setting decision by the lower court said that although a sitting president cannot be prosecuted, a former president has no immunity, even for actions taken while president. Trump argued that having been impeached for his actions on January 6th and then acquitted by the U.S. Senate precludes him from prosecution on double jeopardy grounds. If the court rejects the position of Smith in the lower court, it could agree with Trump that his actions in the indictment fall within the outer perimeter of his official duties as president, rule that all the relevant facts alleged fall within that outer perimeter, and therefore he enjoys absolute immunity. And that would just put the kibosh on Smith's prosecution, as well as a bunch of state-level prosecutions for election interference against Trump, and it would pretty much ruin all of these ballot questions in many states as well. Another option, the court could rule that presidential immunity exists in limited cases and adopt some test, whether the outer perimeter test or some other standard, then send the case back down with orders for the trial court to weigh each of Trump's actions in the indictment. Then you'd have to determine all of that, and it would again go up through the appeals court, and then the Supreme Court would probably have to review all of those decisions again to determine if that was carried out correctly. So no matter how you slice this thing, it's not being resolved until after the November elections, it looks like. Just not going to happen. Which just makes people lose their mind. They're so upset. Adam Schiff, pencil neck. We know Adam, right? Russia.
Of course.
He's not happy about SCOTUS hearing the immunity case.
The goal is to deny justice by delaying justice, and they may just succeed. If the oral arguments are in April and a decision doesn't come out until May or June, and Judge Chutkan at the district court says they're going to have 3 months after that to prepare, then you're right in the fall up against the election. That bumps up against the Department of Justice policy of not normally taking legal action in close proximity to an election. I think the issue here is the proximity to the election is because of the defendant's own conduct, his effort to delay the proceedings. In that case, I would hope that the trial goes forward whenever it gets sent back to Judge Chutkan.
Oh, all right. Jamie Raskin, another Democrat, is also upset about SCOTUS taking on the immunity case.
Obviously, we can't put all of our hopes in the Supreme Court. The people need to be engaged and aroused.
Wait, what? People need to be...
The people need to be engaged and aroused.
Ooh.
The people need to be engaged and aroused at this point to demand that there be justice, but also to be organizing for the election. Everybody needs to be vigilant.
Are you engaged and aroused for justice? Why did he say that?
Yeah, it's a weird word choice.
And why is that the clip I find? You know what I mean?
Of course. Of course you come down with that.
Like, we already talked about Dick Button earlier, and now then Jamie. Like, this is after all my Leap Day research.
Yeah.
And I find out Dick Button wins the World Series championship on a leap day or whatever he did. He just had a funny name.
Figure skating. Yeah. Gold medalist.
What did I say? I say World Series?
Yeah. Either way. Dick Button, legend. Living legend.
World Series of figure skating. Then literally the next clip I find is
the Supreme Court. The people need to be engaged and aroused.
It's like awesome.
Engaged and aroused.
Engaged and aroused. I was like, this is one of those shows where I'm going to get a call from Dan after. Oh, jeez. Nancy Pelosi was also upset, and in between her gallons of boxed wine, she took to Twitter, and she said the Supreme Court is placing itself on trial with its decision to hear the former president's total immunity claim. She said, no. The Supreme Court's the one on trial here. And she says it remains to be seen whether the justices will uphold the fundamental American value that no one is above the law, not even a former president. She said that between her boxed wine and insider trading. I can only assume. You know what? She probably drinks boxed wine while she inside trades. Nancy Pelosi's talented. She could probably drink boxed wine and inside trade at the same time. But she says this is the Supreme Court putting itself on trial. Okay. This is Pelosi that we're talking about, who says no one is above the law, who, she's had accusations. I mentioned the insider trading, but she's had accusations leveled against her for legal violations like misuse of financial campaign resources, as well as violating COVID-19 lockdowns to get her hair done. Got to get the hair did. And now she's demanded that Trump be held accountable for the actions of protesters and rioters on January 6th. And a lot of them are probably feds. Could be feds. Could be Antifa. No one's above the law. I actually know I've met the hairdresser that turned her in. Nancy Pelosi, when she got her hair did during COVID.
Wow.
She's great.
Really?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
She was over it. She couldn't believe Nancy Pelosi would do that.
Did you talk about her hair?
I don't know what to ask. Like,
she have split ends?
Yeah. Would that be a good question?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I'll probably see her again soon. She comes to a lot of Turning Point events.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So I don't know.
Nice.
If anybody wants to know anything about Nancy Pelosi's hair, I guess I can ask.
She's like a sleeper agent. She can get all the inside scoop.
The follicles.
Yes.
All right, so the Supreme Court is going to listen to the Trump immunity case. Meanwhile, this is like, we could go on and on and on about Trump cases. It's exhausting. Are you exhausted by this? Meanwhile, in New York, there's that other Trump case, where he was ordered to pay, just a ridiculous fine. He's been asking if he could post a $100 million bond in the New York fraud case and demands a delay in paying the exorbitant and punitive $464 million fine. It doesn't look like that's going to be happening. An appeals judge denied his request to pay a $100 million bond in the fraud penalty. A New York appellate judge on Wednesday refused to halt collection of Donald Trump's $454 million civil fraud penalty while he appeals, rejecting Trump's request that he be allowed to post a bond covering a fraction of what he owes. Judge Anil Singh of the state's mid-level appeals court ruled that Trump must post a bond covering the full amount in order to stop enforcement of the judgment. Singh, however, did grant some of Trump's requests. Including one that was a pause of he paused a 3-year ban on him seeking loans from New York banks, which could help him secure the necessary bond. Trump's lawyers told the appellate court earlier Wednesday that Trump was prepared to post a $100 million bond, arguing that the lending ban in that verdict made it impossible for him to secure a bond for the full amount. So Trump's lawyers floated the smaller bond offer in court papers as they sought an order from the appellate court preventing New York Attorney General Letitia James' office from enforcing the judgment while his appeal plays out. Singh ruled that Trump needs to post the full amount, which would, he has to post the full amount before he can appeal. Unreal. And Letitia James's office is just, threatening to take his properties. They oppose Trump's plans, saying his lawyers have all but conceded that he has, he doesn't have the liquid assets, but he has the assets to satisfy the judgment. So, awesome. It's just, the whole thing is ridiculous. But did you hear that the judge in that case, Judge Engoron, he was creeping on women in a Long Island gym? Did you hear this? James O'Keefe, formerly of Project Veritas, now with OMG, O'Keefe Media Group. He put out a new video yesterday exposing Judge Engoron, who is the judge overseeing that Trump case with the $464 million fine in New York, the fraud case, exposing him as, quote unquote, a creeper. A creeper. Creeping on ladies in a Long Island gym. We'll talk about that on the way. It's 10:22 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
President Biden says the White House looking into the shooting of dozens of Palestinian civilians by Israeli Defense Forces in Gaza while receiving food aid. The Pentagon chief getting a tongue lashing from members of the House Armed Services Committee today. And we've had a fatality after a house fire here in Middle Tennessee. These stories and more at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It's 10:27 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Don't forget, another Super Talk live event, Super Tuesday, March 5th, Woo! Nashville Palace. It's going to be hype. It's a free event. We'll be broadcasting live as the results come in. Spoiler alert, Nikki Haley will take 0 states. I hope you still come, even though I've ruined the ending. Okay?
So the surge isn't going to happen?
I don't think so.
Dang.
I don't think so. But we're going to be there. Surge or no surge.
Heck yeah.
Myself, Dan, Matt, Brian, we're going to have a night of fun, food, conversation. We're going to be shooting the breeze, talking politics. Saving America, really, is what it's going to come down to. I think that we're going to come up with a plan to save America. But we can't do it
Super
without
dope.
you. It's going to be, but we can't do it without you. So here's what we need to do. Head to the website, 997WTN.com. You'll see a graphic with all of our pictures. Just for those of you keeping score at home, I'm the good-looking one. And then you click the picture. You click the picture, and then just let us know you're coming, and then you're in the running for a massive hot chicken and barbecue tailgate package for 25 people. It all starts at 6 o'clock, Nashville Palace on Tuesday, March 5th. I hope that you're there. Details at 997WTN.com. Thanks to our friends at the Glock store at shoot270.com, Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, and membersnutrition.com. All right, so Judge Engoron, the judge in the New York fraud case for Trump, James O'Keefe, busted him at a gym in Long Island. Okay, this is the latest video he dropped on Twitter. It's his On the Inside series, and this time his target was Arthur Engoron, the New York City judge who handed down that ridiculous fine to Trump. The video includes a clip from a source inside the gym alleging that Engoron was creeping on girls every time he went into that gym in Great Neck, Long Island. Now, you've probably seen a picture of this judge. Mac, you know what he looks like.
Yeah.
If I showed you a picture of him, you didn't know he's the judge. Does he or does he not look like a creeper?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely does. So nobody's shocked by that. When O'Keefe first entered the gym, he was wearing an OMG shirt for O'Keefe Media Group. And somebody in the gym goes, "Oh, I know you. I know why you're here." And then he walks over to the judge, and the judge has no idea who he is. Has no idea.
Oh.
So he's wearing the OMG shirt. The judge doesn't know who he is, and O'Keefe says to the judge, "Hey, I'm a huge fan. Thank you for what you did. That must have felt good." And he asked him about the criticism he's facing, and Engoron says, "I'm strong. I get lots of hate in the mail, but I'm hanging in there." And then there's a clip submitted by an anonymous source where Engoron can be seen talking to a woman who appears to be in her 20s. And by the end of the clip, the woman looks visibly annoyed by the judge, puts her hand up, and gestures him to back off.
Ugh.
And then it gets even worse. Sources elaborated about the judge's behavior in the gym and told O'Keefe that the judge, while he's at the gym, this is according to the source, makes it a point to go up to any young girl possible every single visit. And at first, they might smile and say hello, but by the end of their encounters, by the end of the conversation, the young girls are always creeped out, and you always see the change in their face, and you always see that they're visibly upset. So, bad judge, bad person, guilty of being a creeper. It's 10:31 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 2 minutes. President Biden says the White House is looking into the shooting of dozens of Palestinian civilians by Israeli Defense Forces in Gaza while receiving food aid. The president spoke to reporters as he boarded Air Force One on his way to Texas, said he expects the shooting will be an obstacle in ceasefire negotiations between Israel and Hamas, but he is still hoping the two sides can reach a deal next week.
I was on the telephone with the people in the region. I'm still probably not by Monday, but I'm hopeful.
Probably not by Monday, but he's hopeful. In our nation's capital, Pentagon Chief Lloyd Austin getting a tongue lashing from members of the House Armed Services Committee for not telling the White House he was hospitalized last month. This is Congressman Jim Banks of Indiana.
Either the president is that aloof or you are irrelevant. Which one is it, Mr. Secretary?
Lloyd Austin didn't directly answer that, but admitted he did not handle it right. That Smokehouse Creek wildfire in Texas has grown to more than 1,700 square miles. It's the largest in state history. And right now in Middle Tennessee, Channel 4 says one person is dead after a house fire in Hermitage. Another person rushed to the hospital for smoke inhalation. Happened just before 7 o'clock this morning on Woodway Lane. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at Paul Winkler, Inc. If you missed Paul's webinar, Politics and Portfolios, How to Invest During Election Season, you can get it online at paulwinkler.com and watch it. I suggest you do, because I decided to become a client of Paul's because of his big focus on education. And if you watch that, you'll understand what he can do for you in your financial future. Now, as a husband and a father of four, I was lacking in that financial stability for the future. I honestly didn't have a plan. And, I'm kind of embarrassed to say it, but it's like, we got that fixed because of Paul and his team. Paul and his team hold themselves to a higher level of fiduciary standard than is required. I got to tell you, I'm paid every time these commercials air, but I'm not paid to be a client. I'm a client because Paul brings education to the table. He understands the financial world better than I do, and he can break it down for a guy like me in a way that I can understand. Plus, Paul and his team don't do anything on commission. So I know any advice they give me is for me and not for them. They're not trying to sell me a product because they make more money selling it. They don't do anything on commission. That's huge to me. It really is. And when you sit down with Paul and talk to him the way I did, you're going to come to the same conclusions. Paul's a smart guy. He knows the financial world, and he can really, really set you up for the future. He can make your financial goals more realistic by explaining what to do and why. He did that for me. The investment education that he brings to the table is evidence-based and backed by Nobel Prize-winning research. If you haven't checked them out yet, you should. Every single office is run by a degree planner with over 20 years of experience, and that is the difference. That experience is clutch. Do what I did. Talk to one of his team members today. Set up a complimentary 15-minute phone call right now on his website, paulwinkler.com. That's paulwinkler.com, or call 615-851-1950. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Going through some of these messages on the Members Nutrition text line. And there's one that's like, I'm baffled about.
And Chris doesn't get baffled very often.
I'm one of the least baffled.
This is...
So, all right. 6237 sent in a message about Jamie Raskin, and it was funny. I'm not going to read that on the air. That's not what baffled me. Like people making jokes about Jamie Raskin, easy.
Not baffled.
Not baffled. It was the text before, which was sent on Tuesday, the 27th.
Gotcha.
10:47, like right around this time. 6237 on Tuesday texted in, "Thanks for ruining Mr. Potato Head. Life will never be the same." And I said, like the entire time that we were in commercial, I'm racking my brain with Mac going like,
what did I say?
What did I say about Mr. Potato Head?
Yeah, like if I ruined that, I should remember.
Ruined it for someone for life. So I want to apologize for ruining Mr. Potato Head for you for life. I would apologize for not seeing that text sooner. And I don't know what I said to ruin Mr. Potato Head for life for someone.
And if you're listening right now and you do remember, super texture, please let us know.
Yeah, 6237. Like, if you don't tell me what I did, this is going to keep me up at night.
It's going to eat at Chris, please.
I have no idea. I spent, how long were we in break? Like 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Back and forth with Mac. Like, what did I say about Mr. Potato Head?
I remember receiving that text and laughing, but I don't know what it was connected to. I don't have the context anymore.
It's like, I think that we could do a podcast out of context, super text.
Yes.
This would be one of those. Like, without the context, I have no idea what I did.
Like, what?
To ruin Mr. Potato Head. So, I'm sorry.
Because it's not like we were doing a Toy Story thing. We weren't talking Buzz Lightyear. I mean, it was just,
No. Like, what did I say?
You had some sort of savagery towards Mr. Potato Head, man.
I totally, I don't want to ruin stuff for people and then not remember what I did to
at least
ruin
remember it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I can't remember any hot takes on Mr. Potato Head off the top.
Yeah, no potato head rabbit holes.
Maybe Vaxxed Veggies. Was it Vaxxed Veggies?
That would be it. That would be the only thing that could somehow connect. Yeah. I'll take that. That suffices. Yeah.
It's probably the Vaxxed Veggies. Mr. Potato Head gets his boosters. Yep. 7308. He came to the same conclusion.
Yep, there you go.
Yep. Is that when you were talking about the vaccine vegetables? Like,
it has to be.
It has to be.
Has to be. That makes sense.
Nothing else makes sense. 1265 said, it's just Potato Head now. That's fair. That's fair. We can't assume the gender. That's fair. All right. So I wanted to talk about the statement Trump put out on Biden on Instagram. I'm riding into work this morning, and I never go on my phone on the car.
Oh, never.
So I was parked.
Yes, of course.
I was parked on 24. And I see this video from Trump just unleashing savagery on Joe Biden in classic Trump fashion. Like, this is why we love him. Seriously. This is what we came for.
Radical left Democrats are at it again. They're constantly making up stories about me because their candidate is a mental and physical basket case. There's never been anything like it. He's also the worst president in the history of our country.
It's all, fact check it. Fact check it. It's true. It's true. You know, he got his physical yesterday, and first of all, I didn't notice this at the time. When he was walking to his physical, he had a cup of coffee. Isn't there that rule? Not supposed to eat or drink anything for 24 hours? Isn't the caffeine going to mess with the physical? I think it does. And the doctors declared him healthy and robust. Robust. He's healthy and robust. And Biden's doctors said his latest physical revealed no new concerns. No new concerns. But we've had these concerns for a couple years now. So, healthy and robust with no new concerns. That's the verdict.
It's working.
Yep, it's working. But Trump just unleashed on this poor guy.
These people are really dishonest. They are absolutely something. They have a horrible candidate who's a horrible president. They make up things constantly.
And they do. They make up things constantly. And, you know, like when they go after Trump saying, oh, he wants to be a dictator. He said it on the town hall. He said it. Jokingly. And he talks about how he'll say things jokingly, and then the press and the Democrats take it out of context.
You take a look at when I use Barack Hussein Obama and I interject him into where it's supposed to be Biden, and I do it purposely for comedic reasons and for sarcasm, because a lot of people say that Obama's running the country, not Biden, because he's sleeping all the time.
A lot of people say Joe's sleeping all the time. His doctors say he's healthy and robust, though, so, you know.
They say, oh, I don't know the name of the president. Or when I imitate this guy getting off a stage, what they do is they say, oh, he had trouble getting off a stage. I have no trouble getting off a stage. Anybody that watches what I do at rallies would say, wow, that's amazing. He can go 2 hours without a teleprompter, not making even a little mistake. Very few people, maybe almost nobody, can do what I do. So
I love, listen, you can say a lot of things about Trump. Don't ever tell me he's not humble.
Very few people, maybe almost nobody, can do what I do. So,
yeah, no. Who else can do this? He's nothing if not humble. But you know, he talks about the disinfo from the Democrats is because they have a weak candidate.
Here's the story. The disinformation of the Democrats is unbelievable. They do it because they have a horrible candidate. Don't associate me with the mental midget that you portray, because I want to tell you, he should not be leading this country.
Oh, my gosh. The absolute savage. Don't associate me with that mental midget.
Don't associate me with the mental midget.
It's so good. It's so good.
Don't associate me with the mental midget that you portray, because I want to tell you, he should not be leading this country. And hopefully on November 5th, he's not going to be. We're going to have a big election. We're going to have a big victory. And we're going to make America great again. Thank you.
So he called him a mental midget and a complete and total basket case. That basket case, by the way, is headed to the southern border today. Brownsville, Texas. Trump is also headed to the southern border. He's going to Eagle Pass. You know, somewhere that's actually worth visiting, right? Brandon Judd, who heads up the Border Patrol Union, was on Fox News, And he's saying, the border agents are actually upset with what Biden's doing and where he's going on this Texas visit.
Having said that, he's now piggybacking onto this Trump trip to make it look like to the people who are mad about immigration when they go to the polls, he's trying to do something. At the end of the day, though, Brandon, you know as well as I do, you cannot please everybody here. And a trip like this, it's just not going to work for him.
No, and especially for the Border Patrol agents, they are extremely upset. We're all upset that he is going to Brownsville rather than going to an area where he would be able to evaluate exactly what's going on and to come up with ideas and policies to actually secure the border. Rather, he's going to Brownsville. And that's the exact opposite of what President Trump is doing. He's coming right here to Eagle Pass. He's going to see exactly what has been done to secure this particular area so then he can expand upon that when he gets back in the White House. That's exactly what policymakers should do. That's what people that govern should do. They should look at the areas that are trouble spots so that they can use what has worked and expand upon that. Biden just isn't going to do that.
No, he's not going to do that. He's going to go to a place that's been cleaned up pre-visit and learn nothing. But, he's a mental midget. So even if he was to learn something, he would probably forget it. And then he would get some ice cream. But Brandon Judd, the Border Patrol head, he's absolutely right. He's not going to learn anything. Trump is going to Eagle Pass. He's going to learn what they're doing there that's working. And then when he gets back in office, he's probably going to use what he learns there and expand it across the border. Because everything about the border has changed from how it was done under Trump to how it's done under Joe Biden.
Yeah, everything changed under President Biden. The way we patrol the border, our operations have changed. The way we vet people has changed. The way we process people through the system has changed. Everything that we do has changed under this administration. And it's not about enforcement. It's about getting people into this country as quickly as they possibly can. And so we've become extremely efficient at doing that. And we're all sick of it because we know that if this administration would do what is necessary, we wouldn't have the deaths that we have in this country. Not just Laken Riley. Yep. Look at all of the fentanyl poisonings that we're seeing in the United States. We could stop that if we had the proper policy. He won't give it to us because his open border base won't let him.
He's absolutely right. They've changed everything. Everything. And the Democrats will listen to Brandon Judd, the head of the Border Patrol Union, and they'll say, oh, he's not telling the truth. There was that bipartisan bill, and Joe can't do anything without bipartisan support in legislation. But he took away all the Trump policies without bipartisan support. He took away all those policies with the stroke of the pen. And you don't have to take my word for it. Mayorkas in 2021 went on CNN and bragged that they took away all the Trump policies with the stroke of a pen. They were gleeful about it.
Understand from you what Trump-era immigration policies have been banned, ended, reversed, and if any investigations are underway by you.
So we have rescinded so many Trump immigration policies, it would take so much time to list them.
He can't even list them. They've taken away so many of the Trump policies on the border. Can't even list them. You know what, though? Democrats are starting to notice. Democrats are paying attention. Voters and their representatives. Mayor Eric Adams wants to take away the sanctuary city status of New York City. Rep. Cuellar, a Democrat Texas rep out of Texas, says that Biden needs to demand an end to sanctuary cities. He said that on Wednesday's broadcast of News Nation's The Hill. A Democrat, Rep. Henry Cuellar, said, I was just hearing you all about the New York mayor saying he wanted to make changes to the sanctuary city policy. I can tell you, along with the border, there's not a single sanctuary city because we know the burden it is to have people come across the river and the impact it has. And then he went on to say, in my opinion, Biden should demand an end to sanctuary cities. This is what Democrats are saying. Now, I know this Democrat is out of Texas. He's really close to the border. He's got a bird's eye view on this. I know Mayor Eric Adams out of New York. He's dealing with a lot of this firsthand, too. But you have prominent Democrats saying enough is enough. More and more, every day, starting to speak out against this. I think that's a sign that we're trending in the right direction. But, I mean, how much damage has already been done at the southern border? Honestly, so much damage. It's 10:53 on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Got pothole patching going on in Cheatham County, so the right lane is blocked 24 eastbound just past Springfield, Ashland City, Highway 49, exit 24. Hopes for a ceasefire in Gaza are dimming. We'll tell you about it at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Got a text here on the Members Nutrition text line from 0636, who tends to disagree with us a lot, right? I mean, you look back at the history, it's a lot of disagreeing, which I love. I'd say that comes to the front of the line. I asked 0636 to call in, but he or she did not. The text was, I've never met a Democrat that wanted an open border. Maybe not Democrat voters. I don't think any U.S. citizen in their right mind wants a wide open border. But I'll say this to you, 0636. Democrat politicians, Democrat leaders, yes, they absolutely want an open border. This is Joe Biden in 2019.
I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are.
Surge the border, he says. Surge the border. Or how about New York Democrat Congresswoman Clark, who said the quiet part out loud about illegal aliens?
I'm from Brooklyn, New York. We have a diaspora that can absorb a significant number of these migrants. And when I hear colleagues talk about, the doors of the inn being closed, no room in the inn, I'm saying, I need more people in my district, but just for redistricting purposes.
Eleven o'clock on the dot this Thursday morning. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast in 2 minutes. Israel-Hamas war, hopes for a ceasefire may be dimming after what happened today in Gaza, where Palestinians were waiting for food shipments.
After saying earlier this week a ceasefire in Gaza could happen by Monday, President Biden's now saying it may take longer to reach an agreement, but he didn't give a new timeline.
I was on the telephone with the people in the region. I'm still probably not by Monday, but I'm hopeful.
The president addressing reports over 100 civilians were killed in Gaza while trying to get to trucks carrying food aid.
We're checking that out right now. There's two competing versions of what happened.
Asked if that will complicate ceasefire negotiations, the president said,
Crisis on former President Trump. But Republican Speaker of the House Mike Johnson on Capitol Hill today said he asked President Biden to reinstate the Trump administration's Remain in Mexico policy, saying it would reduce illegal border crossings.
I told the president that at the White House again. He acted as though he had never heard that, didn't understand it, said he couldn't do it. I said, that's not true. Well, Mexico doesn't want that. Mr. President, we're the United States. Mexico will do what we say.
Former President Trump will be at the border with Mexico today, but in Eagle Pass, Texas, which is the epicenter of the illegal border crossing crisis, while Biden will be in Brownsville, Texas, to meet with immigration officials and local elected officials. Elsewhere in D.C. today, Pentagon Chief Lloyd Austin getting a tongue lashing for failure to tell anyone about his hospitalization last month.
The defense secretary was blasted by House Republicans for not sharing word of his hospitalization with the president for 3 days.
Our adversaries should fear us, and what you've done has embarrassed us.
Indiana Congressman Jim Banks.
Who will be held accountable for this?
Lloyd Austin didn't directly answer that, but he did say there'll be notifications across the Pentagon and at the White House when power is transferred in the future.
We did not handle this right, and I did not handle it right.
Stephen Portnoy reporting, and the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at United Structural Systems, USS. I got to meet the guys at USS a few months back. Great guys, but they told me something that is so true. You don't know you need their help on your property until you know you need their help. Like that sinkhole that you've been avoiding looking at. It's gotten out of control, and you're like, okay, it's time to do something about it. That's when you know you need to call USS. When you haven't been down in your crawl space in a while, and you check it after some rain and you see standing water, that's when you need to call USS. When you realize that you have that musty odor smell coming up from your crawl space and you need to encapsulate it, that's when you need USS, but you don't know you need them until you know you need them. But if you need something, these are the guys to call. They've been doing it in Middle Tennessee since 1994, and they aren't going anywhere, and they have over 25,000 satisfied customers to back them up. And they do so much. Basement and crawl space waterproofing, basement wall realignment, foundation repair, sinkhole repair, concrete lifting, foundation waterproofing. They do it all, and they can do it for you. They'll create a custom solution for your home. You won't pay until the job is done and you are satisfied, and it comes with a lifetime warranty that stays with the property. So even if you leave, the warranty does not. Call them today, and they'll make a custom solution for your home. 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, or everything United Structural Systems is online at USSTN.com. 11:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. On this bonus day of February, feels good, Leap Day. We only get to do a show like this once every 4 years, so we're happy that you're here for it. Hopefully, I'll be around for the next one, right? We'll see what happens. I got a text here on the Members Nutrition text line, 2213. Said, good thing Leap Year only happens every 4 years. It's been a weird show. He said, you've had vaxxed veggies, hair-sniffing, robust, arousing mental midgets, and creepy creepers peeping. Sounds like a week on Springer. LOL. ... And now aliens. Yep.
That's about it.
To be fair, that could just be a regular show.
Yeah, exactly. Come on. This is us.
I don't know if that's Leap Day. I don't know if that's Leap Day specific.
But you responded and you said you did forget circumcision, though.
This is true. We covered that earlier.
Yeah, exactly. They cut that out. Sorry.
That was the punniest pun you've ever punned.
I had to do it.
They cut that out. Yikes. Not a fan. Not a fan. Woo. All right. I don't know. How do I radio segue out of that?
Exactly.
You're making it hard. Talking about the segue. I'm talking about the segue.
That was great.
All right, so definitely getting a phone call after this show. All right, so Hunter Biden.
That'll do.
Yeah.
That'll do.
I feel like out of all that, if we just Hunter Biden. Do you know what he's blaming for all of his trouble? Any idea?
Drugs?
No.
Oh, he's not gonna. Okay.
Nope. It's a MAGA conspiracy.
You have trafficked in innuendo, distortion, and sensationalism, all the while ignoring the clear and convincing evidence staring you in the face. You do not have evidence to support the baseless and MAGA-motivated conspiracies about my father because there isn't any.
Oh, it's a MAGA conspiracy. You know, my favorite kind of conspiracies are ones with evidence. And Hunter Biden claims dad's business involvement is a MAGA-motivated conspiracy. All that evidence, it's all MAGA's fault. That's what he claimed yesterday as he was sitting down doing his little interviews. claiming that his father's involvement in the business is merely a MAGA-motivated conspiracy. Okay. So should we just run down the MAGA-motivated conspiracy evidence? All the email aliases, Hunter paying for Joe's expenses, the Biden family's suspicious activity reports of wire transfers, the whole Biden brand. They were selling the brand. 20 Joe Biden phone calls on speakerphone, the texts, the emails, the WhatsApp messages, photos of Joe with Hunter's business partners, Joe's voicemail to Hunter, former White House aide saying the FBI ignored Joe Biden's role in the Ukraine business dealings, Hunter's statement about giving half of his income to his dad, video of Joe Biden bragging about firing the Ukrainian prosecutor, the whistleblower testimonies, the IRS whistleblower testimonies, the 5 individuals referencing Joe Biden as the big guy. Oh, MAGA did it again. How could they? How could they fabricate all of that evidence? Well, the House investigation previously found a massive web of wire transfers, 20 shell companies and associates who helped the Biden business rake in at least $24 million from foreign nationals over the course of approximately 5 years. There's so much evidence against them. They say Hunter used careful language during an opening statement on Wednesday before the House impeachment inquiry to claim he did not involve Joe in his business. Hunter notably did not say that Joe Biden was not involved in the business. He said, "I did not involve my father in my business," he claimed. For more than a year, he says, "Your committee have hunted me in your partisan political pursuit of my dad. You have trafficked in innuendo, distortion, and sensationalism, all the while ignoring the clear and convincing evidence staring you in the face. You do not have evidence to support the baseless and MAGA-motivated conspiracies about my father because there isn't any." It's nothing. No evidence. House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer told reporters before Hunter's deposition that, according to the evidence, Joe Biden was involved in Hunter's business, and Hunter is a material witness in the impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden. He said, President Biden has repeatedly lied to the American people that he never interacted with his son's associates. He said, but when Joe Biden was vice president, he spoke to his son's associates by speakerphone over 20 times. The Bidens received a $3 million payment as a thank you for work completed when Joe Biden was vice president shortly after Joe left office, Comer stated. Of course, Joe's denied any involvement in the Biden family business ventures at least 9 times. And the Democrats lined up to cover for the Biden crime family. But we get statements from people that were in the room, like Nancy Mace, saying, Hunter's just lying to us.
Hunter Biden is being defiant and also dishonest. And his testimony, some of it, is in direct conflict with other witnesses. And so the transcripts will be out. I won't go into detail. You'll be able to see it for yourself. But it's no surprise. It's no shock that he is being that way. And in some cases, he doesn't recall. He said that multiple times this morning, which, again, is not a shocker either. But defiant and dishonest would be the way that I would describe his testimony so far in the first hour.
Is he pleading the fifth?
No, he's not done that yet, but I would tell you that his testimony is in direct conflict with other witnesses that so far the Oversight Committee has interviewed.
Yeah, like maybe one Tony Bobulinski, who confirmed quite a bit of the MAGA-motivated conspiracy theory evidence. Yep. Marjorie Taylor Greene also weighed in on Hunter Biden after the deposition, and she said, listen, a lot of Americans deal with drug addiction and alcoholism, but none of those dealing with drug addiction and alcoholism get placed on boards that they have no experience for.
It's been impressive to listen to Hunter Biden either give excuses about being a drug addict and how difficult it is to go through years of addiction and then swing the next minute to his extreme expertise and business experience that placed him on so many boards and allowed him to teach at Georgetown University.
I love it. He tells us he's a drug addict and an alcoholic, but then he swings and tells us, but he has so much experience. Two things at once. We love two things at once.
You see, the theme that we heard in the room was Hunter Biden is a liar. The Biden family has no product and no service.
Nope.
And Hunter Biden can't hide behind his addiction, which is heartbreaking. Many Americans suffer with addictions, but many Americans, actually I would say all Americans except Hunter Biden, that suffer from drug addiction and alcohol addiction would never be placed on boards of companies like Burisma and would never be teaching at Georgetown unless their last name was Biden.
Boom. I mean, is that not true? Is that not true? Name me one other drug addict or alcoholic that has been placed on a board for a company that they have no experience with, in a country they have no experience with, that doesn't have a famous last name. So as we move forward down the line, Hunter is going to have a public hearing, says James Comer, after what was a 6-hour impeachment deposition. Comer said it revealed so many discrepancies about Joe's involvement in his son's shady business deals. And he told reporters after that 6-hour deposition that, yep, public hearing next. That's going to be must-see TV. Honestly, at this point, politics is just WWF. I feel like there's more happening behind the scenes that we don't know about that is far more interesting than what they provide to us as their front-facing entertainment value. But listen, I'm excited for the public hearing. Comer also added that he's very optimistic, very excited about this deposition, but he didn't disclose any further details. Hunter departed Capitol Hill after a grueling day of questioning with a slight smirk on his face. And did you hear one, as he's walking out, one reporter yelled, Hunter, was the cocaine yours? I'm like, yo, when did we get in this timeline?
Yeah, seriously.
Of all the time to be alive, we get to live in a time where there are reporters yelling at the president's son, asking if the cocaine in the White House was his. You can't tell me that this isn't a great time to be alive.
We're blessed.
Like, it is hard out there. I understand the economy is garbage. I understand that, like, there are real problems out there. But, like, come on. We are blessed beyond our measure with the entertainment value of politics right now. So Hunter's going to have a public hearing. That's going to be fascinating. Will Marjorie Taylor Greene bring naked pictures to the hearing? One can only hope. So Comer is, again, leading that investigation into whether Joe used his position and his brand to enrich his family in a complex $20 million influence peddling scheme. And he said right after the deposition, public hearing is next. And he said, I think a public hearing will hopefully clear up some discrepancies between some of the statements being made by some of the associates and some of the statements we heard today. Because as associates, you know, Tony Bobulinski brought receipts. A source close to the testimony told DailyMail.com that Hunter admitted that he was high or drunk when he sent his infamous incriminating WhatsApp message that he was sitting right here with my father when demanding money from the Chinese company CEFC. He said he was high or drunk. Possibly both. But does that mean that Joe was not sitting next to him? They say it was a common line of Hunter's throughout the deposition in which he discussed his addiction at length. Sorry. I was absolutely ripped. just wrecked that day. Can't recall. Hunter reportedly told lawmakers that he is now embarrassed by the message and that his dad was not sitting next to him when he sent it. He did not pull any media stunt antics like his previous trips to the Hill in December and in January, which sparked Republican anger. And his attorney, Abby Lowell, stated that the deposition today showed Republicans have no evidence. No evidence. Once again, with the no evidence. Completely ignoring the suspicious activity reports of wire transfers, the 20 Joe Biden phone calls on speakerphone, the text, the emails, the WhatsApp messages, the photos of Joe with Hunter's business partners, the Joe Biden voicemail to Hunter, the 5 individuals referencing Joe Biden as the big guy, the 2 whistleblower testimonies, the video of Joe Biden bragging about about firing the Ukrainian prosecutor, the Hunter's statements about giving half of his income to his dad, the former White House aide saying FBI ignored Joe Biden's role in Ukraine business dealings, the millions flowing into the Biden family bank account, Hunter paying for Joe Biden's expenses, and of course, the email aliases, and all of that. I think one of the questions that needs to be asked is why Hunter had Joe Biden saved in his phone as Pedo Peter. I don't know how it relates, but it's a question I think the public wants answered. It's 11:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Right now, Robertson County got pothole patching. It's got the right lane blocked 24 eastbound at the McMahon Hollow Road overpass. And a federal judge has just delivered a blow to a Texas border law. This story and more at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hahn. I got a text here on the members nutrition text line 8884. Said Biden attorney's defense in a nutshell. We're too old, too high, and too drunk to be responsible for anything we've ever done.
Bingo.
I mean, is there a better defense out there? Would that defense work for anybody not named Biden? I'm so sorry. I'm just too old, too high, and too drunk. I don't know what I can do. That's pretty much it. They have no other defense for anything else. I also got a text here from Ethan on the members nutrition text line.
Ethan?
He's talking about us, Mac. He said, you guys are like my best friends I've never met.
Aw.
Isn't that nice?
That's very nice.
He might have been sarcastic. He put a bunch of crying, laughing faces.
Okay.
But just in case he wasn't.
Yeah, I'm going to say he's genuine.
If he's being genuine. Maybe trolling. If he was being genuine, I sent him a thing. I said, come to Nashville Palace. Super Tuesday. We'll be best friends in real life.
Boom.
And you were invited to Nashville Palace as well. Another Super Talk Live event. Tuesday, March 5th. We're going to be putting a nail in the coffin on Nikki Haley. She's done. After Super Tuesday, right? Maybe?
Hopefully.
She's pretty stubborn.
Yeah, I don't think she'll be done.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I mean, she is done. I mean, but we're talking about two different things, yeah.
Yeah. Her best days are yet to come. So, Super Tuesday, March 5th, Nashville Palace. We want you to join us. It's a free event. We're going to be broadcasting live as the results come in. And if they've been anything like the other primaries, what time will polls close? Because we get the results within like a minute. So it'll be like 6 minutes of us broadcasting the results live.
Yes, exactly.
Because they call the race. Like even AP calls the race for Trump. Like boom, boom,
It's
boom,
over.
boom.
Yeah.
So that'll be quick. That'll be quick, and then you can hang out with me, Dan, Matt, and Brian, and we'll have fun the rest of the evening. Plus, if you let us know you're coming and you sign up online at 997WTN.com, you're in the running for a massive hot chicken and barbecue tailgate package for 25 people.
Woo.
The party starts at 6. The results will be in by 7:07.
Yes. If you don't know 25 people, hit me up. Love to have some barbecue.
Yeah, I would love to as well.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Hopefully Ethan wins, and he wasn't trolling.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, Ethan said he's very genuine.
Did we just become best friends?
Did we just become best friends? Yup. Come on, man.
Love it. Love it.
So, I would like to point out also on the members nutrition text line, Todd is now here.
Todd. Well, it doesn't look. I'm looking at the clock right now. It looks like it's not 9.
No.
So that's
it's a little weird. A little weird, Todd. Show starts at 9. Todd missed so much.
Oh my gosh, how to even catch up, Todd, on a show like today?
And this is a show on Leap Day that it only happens once every 4 years.
That's exactly right.
You're going to have to wait for this.
Missed it, man.
You're you're going to have to wait for a long time for a show like this.
If you're craving it, go to our YouTube, Super Talk TV.
Or you can check out the podcast.
Yes, sir.
And we always tell Todd, you can listen to us wherever you go with the iHeartRadio or the TuneIn app. Todd said he was waiting for Matt.
Wow.
I thought we were boys.
Yeah, wow. I feel betrayed.
Whoa.
That just hit me like a train, Todd.
Waiting for Matt Murphy, huh? His show starts at noon.
I see where we stand, Todd.
Yeah, we know. All right.
It's all good. It's all good.
And here I was thinking anecdotally we were number one with mailmen. Todd's just
led us astray.
Just ripping my evidence to shreds.
Oh, Jason says 70 degrees on Tuesday. I'm wearing my Speedo.
Based. I don't know what the dress code policy is at Nashville Palace.
Yeah, do you have anything planned? I know last event you had your whole
attire
ready.
I wanted to wear a Nikki Haley clown nose shirt.
Oh, yes. I thought, yeah.
Couldn't find one.
Dang it.
Nikki Haley is very disliked, but not disliked enough for, you know what I mean?
She can't even be disliked enough.
Yeah, she doesn't have that much dislike.
It's more just like irrelevance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like, I think Trump is a bad president. It's like, well, we don't think about you at all. So it's 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast in 2 minutes. Breaking news ahead of former President Trump and President Biden making dual appearances at the border with Mexico. Fox News reports a federal judge has blocked a Texas law that lets border police arrest people coming across the border illegally. Meanwhile, back in Washington, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson telling reporters he told President Biden when they met at the White House to reinstate former President Trump's policies.
Reinstate remain in Mexico. That alone would reduce the flow by 70%. That's their estimate. I told the president that at the White House again. He acted as though he had never heard that, didn't understand it, said he couldn't do it. I said, that's not true.
And President Biden says he hopes a ceasefire, or rather, he says he hopes ceasefire negotiations between Israel and Hamas can reach a deal next week, but he admits Monday may be difficult, addressing reports that over 100 civilians were killed in Gaza today while trying to get to food trucks bringing in aid. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
But what is going on with the weather? It's cold. It's hot. It's cold. It's hot. That's what your AC is saying right now in your heat. They don't know what's happening. And if you've been waiting to get your system serviced the best way, the Busy Bee way with Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, you could be waiting for a problem to pop up. This is the time of year where you're using both. You're using it in the morning, the heat. In the afternoon, the AC. Don't wait for that problem to pop up. Keep your unit in tip-top shape. Now, if you need that annual maintenance, call Busy Bee. If you need to repair your heat or your AC, call Busy Bee. If you've been waiting to replace your AC because it went out at the end of last season, call my friends at Busy Bee. You're not going to find a better value on replacement systems. They offer up to 12 months, no payment, no interest with approved credit. And you can get added rewards and savings. Sign up to be a Beehive member because it pays in so many ways. You'll get that annual maintenance. You'll get your 10% off all repairs on your plumbing, heating, and air system. No overtime charges, 24/7. It's a huge, huge amount of savings, and it'll pay for itself. Plus, the guys at Busy Bee always offer convenient Saturday availability for those maintenance calls, so you'll never be left out in the cold or dealing with a hot summer day. Call Busy Bee. They're your Rude Pro partner. For satisfaction guaranteed, the guys that I trust are Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. 615-775-7833. That's 615-775-7833. And online at busybeehvac.com. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. What's going on? It's Chris Hand. Hope you're having a fantastic leap day. You know, Biden's down at the border. He didn't go to an important spot. If you look at the members' nutrition text line, everybody's assuming that he went to the spot with the best ice cream places. Could be. The Border Patrol Union President, Brandon Judd, is calling Biden out. He's saying that Biden didn't even bother to reach out to them to invite them for his border drive-by today.
President Biden going to Brownsville, did the Border Patrol Union ever get any outreach or invitation from the White House about that visit?
Not at all, and I didn't expect it. He's not going to listen to voices of reason. He's not going to listen to people that are going to tell him what he actually needs to secure the border, the programs, the operations, the policies. He doesn't want to hear any of that, and if he would have invited me, that's exactly what I would have said.
President Biden...
He doesn't want to hear any of that. So he doesn't want the Border Patrol President Brandon Judd with him. Because this is all by design. He doesn't want to fix any of this. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? Meanwhile, Trump is going down there because he wants to go down there. Biden is going because he has to go down there. That's what the Border Patrol Union's Art Del Cueto said on Fox News earlier.
President Trump is going down to the border because he wants to go down there. That's what it is. And President Biden is going down because he has to. You know, for the last 3 years, he's been saying that the border is secure, that there is no issues. Yep. Obviously, everyone in America knows that that is a complete lie. And from day one of this administration, the border has been in chaos just on his rhetoric. Then he got rid of policies and it made it worse. And right now he's going down, you know, pretty much it's the Hail Mary to save, the rest of the campaign because, you know, he wants to get reelected. But if he really wanted to see where the areas were, he'd come down to Arizona or he'd go to San Diego. Arizona, just Tucson sector alone is averaging over 1,500 people a day.
Yeah, and they're going to Arizona and they're going to San Diego, California, because Governor Abbott is actually providing some deterrence. It's amazing what happens when you do a little bit of pushback on the border. People decide to go elsewhere. Incredible. Shocking. Mind-blowing. Calvin, the distinguished gentleman from Lebanon, wants to talk. You're on Super Talk. What's up, Calvin?
Hey, Chris, I was just going to say this. I don't know how this deportation is going to work if Trump gets in. I know it's going to be beautiful. But let's picture this, that everyone feels like going to the blue cities and the blue states is going to be their safe place. So he's got this massive deportation. We're doing it here in Tennessee. Everywhere's doing it, of course, for blue, probably not blue states. That's going to be like a war itself, where if they feel like they're safe in the blue cities, they think they got a problem there now. Let's picture that. And then let's picture this. How are they going to get there? Let's see. I'm at Burger King right now. They hijacked me as I'm trying to get into, give me your van. Anything they can do to get to these blue cities. That could be like a war itself.
No, and you're absolutely right. I mean, it's not going to be pretty. In fact, it's going to be messy. And you didn't even get into the fact that, in 2023 at the border, there was some 50,000 from Central Asia that came across. So it's like these people are not coming here for a better life. They have an ulterior motive.
Right. Well, I was just thinking, I'm trying to put that picture in my mind. I'm ready for it, whatever it takes to get our country back. But yeah, that could be a very messy situation too. But it's just going to have to be, ain't it?
Yeah, it's going to have to be that way. And I appreciate your call, Calvin, as always, the distinguished gentleman from Lebanon. It is a messy situation. It's not going to be pretty. And this is one of the reasons why I think Trump is the guy for the job. He's not going to be running the Oval Office with an eye towards another term, like a Nikki Haley would or like a Ron DeSantis would, where the optics could ruin them for the second term. He's going to go in and do what needs to be done. Optics be damned. And the optics will be harsh. They will. But we have a president that is leaving our border wide open. And then he's trying to do a drive-by in Brownsville, Texas. And even the residents there are saying this is way too late and it's only about politics.
So I was here almost a year ago during the surge. It's a night and day difference right now. The president is here. Why do you think the president is coming now, Susan?
Yeah, well, obviously he's a little too late, Lawrence. Thank you for having us on the show this morning. He should have been here last year, the same time you were here when there was a big surge and where we were having to, makeshift these processing centers. Right now, as you see, it is night and day. It has slowed down thanks to the governor and his interventions here. I think President Biden sees that there's a shift in Cameron County and the Valley when it comes to border issues, and that the conservative vote is high, and so he knows he needs to make a stop here. So
he's doing it for politics. Weird, right? And the Border Patrol agents know he's doing it for politics, and they're upset. They know that he's going to a location that doesn't have an issue currently. Not the location where he could actually learn something and figure out what needs to be done elsewhere.
What we expected, and the reason why Border Patrol agents are so upset about this visit is because he's not going to any location where he's going to be able to evaluate what he needs to do. What are the policies? What are the programs that need to go into place? And he's not going to be able to do that in Brownsville. If he would have went to San Diego, if he would have went to Tucson, if he would have come out here to Eagle Pass, if he would have went to the trouble locations, he would have been able to get a little bit more understanding and evaluate the situation to come up with it. He's not going to do that. He can't do that. He's repeatedly said that he doesn't have executive authority to control this, and if he turned around and he did something today, then everybody would recognize that the past 3 years are all on him.
The past 3 years are all on him. He's absolutely right. That was Brandon Judd, the president of the Border Patrol Union. The past 3 years are all on Biden. And you don't have to take Brandon Judd's word for it. You can listen to the people in Biden's own administration. They said that they took away all of Trump's policies with the stroke of a pen. They could reinstate all these policies with the stroke of a pen. They don't want to. This is Alejandro Mayorkas in 2021.
Understand from you what Trump-era immigration policies have been banned, ended, reversed, and if any investigations are underway by you.
So we have rescinded so many Trump immigration policies, it would take so much time to list them.
They can't even list all the policies that they rescinded that were working under Trump. It would take too much time for Alejandro Mayorkas when he was, bragging about doing it in 2021. He doesn't say stuff like that anymore because the biggest issue in America is the border. And they know it is a political poison pill to say something like that in 2024. The only policy that the Biden administration wants to offer is amnesty. And that's what Brandon Judd said on Fox News this morning. He's the president of the Border Patrol Union.
I'd much rather use facts rather than rhetoric. When you listen to Karine Jean-Pierre, and she says that from day one, President Biden put out policies. The only policies that he put out was amnesty or a pathway to citizenship for all of these people that cross the border illegally. There was nothing in any of his policies that were border security measures. Nothing.
Nothing in his policies that were border security measures. It was all amnesty from day one. Amnesty. That's what he wants. And why do they want that, you think? Oh, because they're sending them to blue cities and they need them for redistricting purposes. And that's not a conspiracy theory. This is what the Democrats are openly admitting. New York Democrat Congresswoman Clark said the quiet part out loud some weeks ago.
I'm from Brooklyn, New York. We have a diaspora that can absorb a significant number of these migrants. And when I hear colleagues talk about, the doors of the inn being closed, no room in the inn, I'm saying, I need more people in my district, but just for redistricting purposes. Oh. And those members could clearly fit here.
I need them for redistricting purposes. People are fleeing these blue states, these blue cities, for conservative states, conservative cities, where people value things like the rule of law. And so as people flee, well, you lose representation. You lose seats. So she wants them there for redistricting. 10 million people have come in during the Biden administration illegally. The only thing the Biden administration offers up is amnesty and a pathway to citizenship. And the Democrats say out loud, we want them here for redistricting. That's what they say. When they tell you what they're really doing, you should believe them. You should. You should believe them. All right, we got a special crossover coming with Matt Murphy. We only get to do a crossover like this once every 4 years. It's historic. This is the first of what I hope to be a few. At least a few. It's Leap Day. Leap Day? Leap Day? So we're gonna talk to Matt Murphy. Hang out with us. It's 11:48 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand for my friends at membersnutrition.com. Listen, what is in your body? Let's face it, it's not good. It's not good. Do you know that there are toxins building up in your body? I mean, from everything, from the stress, from the air that we're breathing, from the food that we eat, so much garbage, and it gets in your body, it suppresses your immune system, and it even hinders your ability to absorb nutrients and fight illness. That excess waste that you're picking up is also going to cause you to prematurely age, feel bloated, gross, sluggish. But there's a way to get those toxins out to essentially change your body's oil. And it's from Daily Defense, their youthful cleanse, which you can get at membersnutrition.com. It is time for you to take control of your health so that way you can take control of your life. And this ultimate cleanse supplement will give you optimal digestive health. That gut health is so important. And one of the things I love that they do at membersnutrition.com is they make all of their supplements, all of their vitamins right here in the US of A. Not overseas in China, right here in America. So you can't be sure of that when you're buying it off the store shelves, but you can be sure of it when you're getting it at membersnutrition.com. So take control of your health, take control of your life, and try Daily Defense's Youthful Cleanse by going to membersnutrition.com. Well, this has been one of the most special shows, and we're going to have to do it again in 4 years. Leap Day. It's not every day you get to do it.
The little day that could.
The little day that could. Thank you to Caesar. Shout out to Caesar.
You know what? I've decided I'm not doing another one of these Leap Day crosses with you.
What?
For a while. For a while.
I thought this was going to be the first of few.
I don't. I said to Mac when you said that, I was like, yeah, we could maybe get in, if we're lucky in this business 4, maybe.
That would be dope.
That would be. I mean, crazy. If you gave me 4 right now, I'm taking it.
I would too.
I'm taking it.
I would sign up for that.
Yeah.
So happy Leap Day, Matt Murphy.
But that's not going to happen because George Soros is going to buy all the radio stations, and then I don't know what happens after that. Have you seen that rumor that he's trying to buy us?
Why?
I don't know. I don't know why the rumor's there. I don't know. I mean, but he bought some of these radio stations, and now he's trying to buy us.
I saw that he bought Odyssey. I did. All right. So then like immediately the head of their news division was out. Did you see that?
I did not see that.
It was like the deal closed, and then a couple days later it was out. Now, all right. So I've done a lot of research on this. I've worked in a lot of the markets where they have.
Do I need to brush up my resume based on your research?
No.
Okay, good.
So like basically out of all the news stations that they own, only 2 are technically conservative. One of them is in St. Louis, which is like St. Louis. And then the other is in Richmond, Virginia, WRVA. I worked in that building. The signal is tiny.
Right. So who's listening anyway?
And they're as conservative as saying, like, they're conservative, but they go to Obama's bad, and that's as far as they'll go. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
right.
They'll never
we
be
don't
like...
prefer liberals.
They'll never be like, you got to vote Trump to secure the country or save the country. They'll say, Obama wasn't the best.
I hate that the powers that be have created this dynamic by which we hear news like this and automatically, and I do it too, we all do it, you leap to the conclusion and then you have to kind of pull it back and figure it all out. And
I did it, and like, so there's so many stations. They own a lot of stations, not a lot of news stations. Is it going to change the liberal news stations? No, they're already liberal. WWJ in Detroit, I worked in that building. Very liberal. It's Detroit. KDKA in Pittsburgh, I was in that market. Very liberal.
And most of these are like straight news.
Straight
less
news
talk,
or left
less conversation. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get that. And I'm one of the few people, and it's a side subject, not the Soros subject. I'm one of the few people in our industry that I didn't get the level of heartburn when they started talking about taking AM radio out of cars. I get it. I want the manufacturers to make the decisions. I don't want government to make these types of decisions. But I didn't get the heartburn that a lot of people got, because just watch how 20-somethings, just go sit somewhere where 20-somethings gather and watch how they consume information. I promise you none of those people know what AM radio is. None of them. Well, they barely know what FM radio is.
And wasn't there the similar freak out when they moved AM music stations over to FM?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What? FM's a wasteland. Nobody's going to be listening over there. Just put the trash over there on FM radio. The real stuff needs to be on AM. And then Rush single-handedly saved the AM band anyway.
Yeah. And I remember when they said that the app development for radio stations was a waste of money.
I had an owner of a radio company that I worked for about 5 years when I first went to Birmingham, Alabama, told me we were begging him for a website so that we could put the stream up on the website. And he said, that website stuff, it's not going to last. That's what he said. This was in 2000. It's not going to last.
It's a fad.
Rock and roll's not going to last.
It's going to go the way of Pogs. What are you thinking?
Whatever. Hey, happy Leap Day.
Happy Leap Day. What do we got coming up on the show?
We've got Marsha Blackburn at 2 o'clock to talk about the border. We've got Friday Mac Attack on Thursday because I'm not here tomorrow. We got Taylor Hicks with some entertainment. A lot of things happening.
Does Marsha Blackburn know the border's a mess?
I think she does.
All right.
Like her hair.
Hang out with us. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.